So what happens when you combine a new rumor that has incredibly powerful spell procs on hit with a fast-moving, hard-hitting melee character? Well, you end up with a brand new build, a build that I've dubbed the Cataclysm Wolf. The Cataclysm Wolf is a melee build that I actually enjoy playing, and that's saying a lot because I typically hate playing melee in Diablo 2. What's going on, Diablo 2 fans? My name is Dobrunsky, and in today's video I'm going to break down everything that you need to know about the Cataclysm Wolf. I'll cover the key pillars that make this build possible, a breakdown of the skill investment and gear that I'm using, and I'll wrap everything up with some gameplay showcasing a couple different build variants. I should note that this build was crafted in the Diablo 2 Reimagined mod. If you're not familiar with the Reimagined mod, I'll leave links in the description for a basic overview video, the mod's website, and community Discord. So what are the three key pillars that make this build possible? The first and most obvious pillar is the rumored Armageddon. The 40% chance to cast level 20 Blizzard on striking is how the werewolf procs all of those beautiful looking spell animations. Now if you're wondering why it looks like there's more blizzards in the air than what a blizzard sorceress can cast, it's because there is. Chance to cast Blizzard on striking isn't subject to the same cooldown that a sorceress is, similar to how a Riftsin is capable of proccing more frozen orbs faster than a sorceress can cast them. The second pillar is negative resistance gear. The level 12 Conviction Aura from an Infinity Mercenary paired with either the unique shield Sun Tormentor or Chill of Winter, depending on if your spec is fire or cold variant, ensures that elemental damage can be as high as it possibly can be. The final pillar is AoE damage. All that smoke that you see on the screen is actually splash damage. All that area effect damage from the Blizzard procs, Armageddon or Hurricane depending on your build spec, and then the physical damage from Fury significantly increases the clear speed of the Cataclysm Wolf compared to your standard Diablo 2 melee build. So moving on to a breakdown of the build, for the attribute points I invested enough strength to equip my gear, enough dexterity to reach 10,000 attack rating with Heart of the Wolverine, and then the remainder of my points were invested into Vitality. For skill points, starting off with the summoning skill tree, I invested 1 heart point into Oak Sage and 1 heart point into Heart of the Wolverine. You can actually summon more than one spirit at a time in the D2R Reimagined mod, so 1 point into both of these skills gives the druid a healthy bump to life, attack rating, and damage. Under the shapeshifting skill tree, I invested 1 heart point into Werewolf, Lycanthropy, Fury, and all of the mandatory prerequisites. Now the elemental tree is where you get to add a little bit of build variation to the Cataclysm Wolf. If you want to rain down fire from the skies, max out Armageddon and its synergies, and if you want to shatter monsters with cold damage, max out Hurricane and its synergies. So there is a ton of different gear variations in the Reimagined mod. I've mentioned earlier in other overview videos that this mod has added over 1,500 new uniques, set items, and rumored, so there's so many different combinations. If you guys think I missed something, if you're more familiar with the mod, let me know in the comment section below. But starting off with the weapon, Armageddon. Ralort, Thul Chamber Hell for that 40% chance to cast level 20 Blizzard on striking. A lot of other nice stats, IS, Crushing Blow, freezes target, 35 all res, but basically we're using this rumored for the 40% chance to cast level 20 Blizzard on striking. Then I paired that with the Antler Pelt Silver Skin for kind of 3 reasons. 1, the 22% deadly strike. 2nd reason, the 3 to shapeshifting skills and faster run walk. That pairs really well with Feral Rage procs. And the 3rd is just a white Antler Pelt. It looks amazing. If anybody disagrees, I don't care. White Antler Pelt is GG for Druid, but the amulet, High Lords, so this isn't corrupted yet. I will eventually corrupt it, but the main takeaway here is Deadly Strike. So 37% Deadly Strike with the amulet, with 22% Deadly Strike with the pelt, and then I paired that with this new ring, Jackal's Laughter. So 1 dull skills, dual leech, and Deadly Strike based on character level. So between 37 Deadly Strike on Jackal's Laughter, 37 Deadly Strike with High Lords, and then 22% Deadly Strike with Silver Skin, I have like 96% or something, almost 100% Deadly Strike. So even though the build has tons of elemental damage, every hit is almost guaranteed Deadly Strike, so that's really important. Body armor, I went with Chains of Honor, just the 2 dull skills, Life Leech, damage to undead and demons, all res, damage reduction, just a good overall body armor. You could go Fortitude if you wanted more physical damage, or Enigma is an option because yes, you can teleport as a shapeshifter in the Reimagined mod. Just the only downside to getting that versatility of teleport is I'd be losing a ton of res. If you can make up the res elsewhere, that is a viable option. The boots, I got the B right. Boots, right now I'm using Evil Reputation, so faster run walk, life stolen per hit. Ideally, I guess Gore Riders for a little bit more Crushing Blow and to get that perfect Deadly Strike cap would be good, but just for right now, that's what I'm using. The belt, Wolf Pelt, so this is just life and all res. It's honestly not that good. Something like String of Ears would be better, I just haven't found it yet. The gloves are Laying of Hands for that damage to demons and IS. Now the shield is where things get interesting. There's 2 different combinations of shields. I can use, or I have been using Sun Tormentor if I want to go with the fire variant, so that's because this shield gives 24% plus fire skill damage and negative 20% enemy fire resistance. If I want to go the cold damage route, I'll use Chill of Winter. That's for the negative 60% enemy cold res and 23% cold skill damage. So There is room for punching more power into this build with sockets, corruption, and facets. I just haven't got there yet. And then on the offhand, I'm using CTA and Enigma. Inventory is a bunch of max damage charms with the Druid Torch and an Annie. So I think with this build, maybe a combination of shapeshifting skillers and elemental skillers would be a little bit better. I just haven't actually found those pieces of gear yet. Now for the Mercenary, this is where things get a little bit more interesting. He's still not fully built out yet, and I know I might cover some of the affixes based on where my webcam is, but Affinity for the weapon, Cure for the helmet, so Conviction Aura and then Cleansing Aura between these two pieces of gear, Fortitude and Ethereal Embossed Plate, Drax Gloves. If Life Tap goes off, I guess a little bit extra survivability. It's not really ideal. I don't actually have a belt or an amulet worth using yet, so I need to fill those gear slots out. Using Fall from Grace for dual leech, and then the boots, these are just Thakwea's slippers, so faster run walk, all res, and magic find. But basically, Might Aura and Conviction Aura is the reason why I'm using this Mercenary setup. So finally, I'm going to wrap everything up with some gameplay. I'm going to do a Chaos Sanctuary run, half as the Cold variant spec, and then the other half as the Armageddon Fire variant spec. Now there is one other really cool thing that I wanted to showcase. I did talk about earlier how you can have two summons active at the same time, but once you get buffed up with battle orders and then you transform into a wolf, if you want to, with the Reimagined mod, you can continue to buff yourself while you're in wolf form. You don't have to go back and forth to human form, to shapeshifting form, to recast your battle orders buff, which is just an amazing quality of life for huge Druid fans. I just am blown away. But more or less, with the gameplay, we're just keeping Feral Rage active for the damage, life leech, and faster roam walk movement buffs, and then we're proccing Fury for all of the blizzard procs, and then simultaneously have either Armageddon or Hurricane active depending on which variant you are speccing. So this is the actual Hurricane setup first, and this is all going to be on players 3 Chaos Sanctuary. Now you can see, like, once you get Feral Rage going, like, everything just melts. Tons of faster run walk, movement speed, life leech, proccing blizzard everywhere. And one of the really cool things about this build, and I think a lot of people are probably aware of it, but have never really seen it in action, at least I haven't, is the freezes target on striking. Because there's not a lot of examples of that on uniques or rumors in Diablo 2, at least that people typically use. And people don't really often put a Chamron in a weapon. I mean, you might put it in like a helmet for cannot be frozen, but it's really cool. If you see every time I strike a monster, they're literally just completely frozen in one spot, which just provides insane survivability when you factor in the extra cooldown, or excuse me, the extra slowdown from Hurricane and the blizzard procs. Yeah, just basically toggling back and forth, get Feral Rage fully active, and then periodically recast Hurricane, and then just go to town. So we'll maybe do Infector first, then we'll go back to town, we'll respec, and we'll go to the Armageddon variant. But I think from traditional melee, D2, like this AoE, it's way more enjoyable to play. Like the splash damage, all that smoke that you see on the screen is splash damage. The big radius, cold damage from Hurricane and Blizzard procs. And it's cool to see so many blizzards at once. Like, you don't typically see that many unless you're doing like a bunch of blizzard sorceresses doing a bail run. Does everyone remember the first day of Ladder Reset when everybody is a blizzard sorceress and they destroy the first wave, and the second wave nobody can do anything because everybody is a blizzard sorceress? That's probably the only other time you see so many blizzards casting at once. But okay, so that is the cold variant, so I'll quickly respec and then I'll showcase the fire variant. So everything is more or less the same as the fire variant. The only thing is obviously change of skills, and then I'm now using Sun Tormentor instead of Chill of Winters for just boosting fire damage versus boosting cold damage. Now I definitely don't think this build is quite as strong as the Hurricane setup, but where it's not quite as strong, and it's definitely still viable, but where it's not quite as strong, I would say it sort of showcases or beats it in just sheer looks. Like having fire rain down simultaneously with the blizzard shards is really cool. But gameplay is the same idea. We're just making sure Frail Rage is completely buff. Get all that extra damage, life leech, and movement speed, and then for 20 seconds, Fury everything, and then occasionally recast your Armageddon to make sure it's active. Yeah, splash damage is it's a game changer for melee. Absolutely is a game changer. It's kind of a bummer because there's so many cool things you could do with melee with just, like, I think this build is a perfect example. Just a couple different gear pieces, splash damage, a couple tweaks to the skill tree over base Diablo 2, and just right now I have a wolf that's just proccing Armageddon and blizzards simultaneously. Like, just, it's kind of almost a bummer when you think of how many cool things we could experience with just a couple small changes. If we could just get the devs and people that don't want to see the game changed on board. Okay, so we're just going to clear everything out. We'll recast our summons, which died. Wouldn't it be cool to see Spirit of the Barbs something else as well? Like if Spirit of the Barbs was something other than damage reflect, like maybe if it gave a bonus of like negative physical resistance or something, and then you had to kind of choose between Heart of the Wolverine or I don't know, it would be cool in my opinion. Okay, so we'll finish with Vizier. And even though I think that the Hurricane variant is stronger, I still think if you want to go the fire route, you absolutely can. Okay, so we'll quickly kill Diablo, and that's all she wrote. Okay, quickly check the loot, because I know some people were probably irked that I had loot off to showcase the gameplay. I'll go back and check loot after this run, guys, but that's the Cataclysm Wolf. Now, there are a few questions that I do want to attempt to preemptively answer. The first question is, can you make this same build as a werebear? And the answer to that is yes, you absolutely can. It's a fun build, but keep in mind that you're sacrificing some movement speed and attack speed as a werewolf for more survivability as a bear. The second question, does this build work based around Fireclaw? The answer to that is again, yes. In some cases, actually, Fireclaw felt stronger, but the frequency of blizzard procs didn't quite happen as often, so it just didn't look as cool. And the third and final question, can you run Hurricane and Armageddon at the same time? You can, but I wouldn't recommend it. You end up spreading your points too thin across the elemental skill tree and you end up with less total damage. So that wraps up today's video, guys. Now I know I'm a big druid guy, but I promise my next video I'm going to branch out a little bit and try something totally different. An assassin werewolf uber build. Now I know that probably doesn't make any sense, but stay tuned for the next build video. Other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. If you could throw a like on it, I'd really appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.